Yeah, now.
Okay.
Namaste.
So, Dr. Sumitra, if you can do
Namaste.
the honors by chanting a Vedic prayer before we start. Go ahead.
Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tanna Asuva. This is from Yajurveda, chapter 30, in mantra 3. O God, creator of the universe and giver of the true happiness, we pray to you to remove all our shortcomings and vices. May you bestow upon us all good qualities. सभी को हमारा नमस्ते नमस्ते.
Namaste ji.
I,
Namaste.
I should mention Dr. Sumitra is the granddaughter of Pandit, the late Pandit Sudhakar Chaturvedi.
Sudhakar Dwivedi ji.
He was a esteemed Vedic scholar,
Yeah.
and, one of the early students of Gurukul Kangri. Uh, he was also associated with the Indian National Army, and he he was the Pandit that did the reconversion ceremony of Mahatma Gandhi's son when to bring him back from Islam to Hinduism. Again, thank you, Dr. Sumitra.
Namaste.
Mhm.
One correction, Ashwini ji. He was not in the Indian National Army. Last time also you had mentioned it. No, he was not there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And one more thing, Ashwini ji, he used to live a Vedic life and he lived up to 108 years.
More than that, sir. More than
More
that.
than 100 years.
Around 120 years.
Oh, 120 years. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he just slipped and fell down. Otherwise, he wanted to live up to 300. That's what always he used to tell
Yeah,
in our
that's a great
children.
thing.
Yes. He expired on 2020th during
Yeah,
COVID.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, bye, Ravi.
Mhm. So we have some questions on WhatsApp also. So I think before starting taking question from our participants, we can go by those questions, Ashwini bhai.
Yes.
One
Why don't?
question is from Shirin. I don't know what's the actual name. Yeah, the question is, how would one respond to a person that wants to convert from Hinduism to either Islam or Christianity based on teachings of Mahasi Dayananda? Actually, this question of conversion is very important and it always persists everywhere in India also. Almost entire Punjab has become converted into Christianity. That Telugu, the close to Andhra, so many conversions are there. These can only if we want to stop conversion or if a person wants himself that he may not be converted, he should become knowledgeable one. Only the knowledge can stop everything. If we don't have knowledge, we will be easily become victim of such convergence and all these things. And what I have experienced and seen, because I have traveled a lot throughout different countries, the persons who are reading Satyarth Prakash, they were never converted. They always gain the power of argument because the last four chapters of Satyarth Prakash, they are very powerful. Until and unless you know the weak points of the rival person, you cannot argue with him. So that power of argumentation can be achieved through the proper knowledge of our philosophy and culture. So one must have to be knowledgeable one. We must know about others and know about ourselves. Then only this conversion can be stopped. Nor the people would continue to be converted, and sometimes conversions are also because of they give you money, they convert you, you are living in poverty, you are living in misery. So the way to convert persons is to induce them, to give them money. So that is also another fact. If you want to stop those type of conversions, then you will have to enhance your charitable activities. You will have to go to those poor persons who are deprived of even the mere facilities, day-to-day life facility. So the knowledge and prosperity, these are two things which can stop conversions, or nor the conversions will continue. Second question we have received from Professor B.K. Kuthalia. Kuthalia ji has been the vice chancellors of many universities in India, and he was the chairman of Haryana Higher Education Council. And you will be glad to know that he is also one of the participants of this Satyarth Prakash course. He writes that example of rats eating the offering to Shivaji from childhood experiences of Swamiji was explained by me, a teacher in DAV school. He told that according to Vedas, everything in this universe may be shared with by each creature. Rats, ants, flies, devotees all have a share in the offerings, but for me, dilemma continues. Can you please explain? We in our Vedic system, we have Panch Mahayajnas. Panch Mahayajnas, and one of the Mahayajna is Bali Vaishwadeva Yajna. So, in that system, Bali Vaishwadeva Yajna means feeding the creatures living around us. So that offering, that bali we can give. But here, what the example that occurred before Swami Dayananda, it was not the question of offering. Nobody was giving the offering to in the form of Bali Vaishwadev Yajna. It is a question of observation, because the people over there, they were giving offering to the Lord Shiva, who was considered as the master of the universe, governor of the universe. So when you give something to the governor of universe, and it is the observation, a person how he visualize the things. So Swami Dayananda visualized as a layman, as a small young child, that a God who is not able to protect the offerings given to him, then how can he protect this entire world? And how can he do the justice? Because everything is placed or meant for different purposes. If you give an offering to some sannyasi, and that offerings, a rat starts sharing that offering, that is not acceptable. So if offerings given to the creatures, they have a different objective, and you are supposed to give them. And offering given to a god or a sannyasi or somebody else, that is a different one. So that offering, suppose you are giving dana, donation to somebody else, so that donation is for the purpose, meant for that purpose only. So it was the observation of Swami Dayananda that something has been offered to this Shivalinga, and that is being taken by a rat. So he visualized that a person who is not able to protect his own things, how can he protect the whole world? And this is how his journey started. We have no problem in Indian Vedic system. The offerings are also allowed to all creatures. Everybody has the right to livelihood, and even the Prakriti, this whole nature has given everything to everybody. So that was the observation of Swami Dayanand, which clicked to his mind and changed the way of his life. So it depends upon a person how he conceives the things. And third question has been raised here is about self-bragging or self-promotion, we can say. And what is the view of our Shastras in this regard? Our Shastra, they have a different type of things. Everything depends upon you. What is the objective of your life? How you want to, how you have set the objective of your life. So as per our Shastras, the objective of human life is Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. But if your objective is Moksha, then you will have to go away from all these things, self-bragging and no, all these things, even the mana, sammana, honors, you will have to leave everything. So different things have been defined for at different stages. For in Brahmacharya stage, you you can you will have to receive the knowledge, whatever you can gain. In Grihasthashram, you are to deliver, you are to donate, even the money, even the facilities, whatever you can do. A Vanaprasthi, he is to donate knowledge, and he's not supposed to ask anything from anybody else. He can gather things from the nature itself. And for a sannyasi is not supposed even to make food or gather things. He will only beg, he will deliver knowledge, he will pass on knowledge, and if somebody abuses him, he will give blessings. So that type of stages are there for the achievement of different objectives. So far as this self-bragging, these are the new concepts created in the new scenario of commercialization, materialism. Here everybody has the right. If you want to promote yourself, you have the right to promote yourself, because if the competition is there, the people are marketing, the era of marketing is there. So if you are a good person and you have good ideas, if you are not promoting those good ideas, then the bad ideas will be promoted. So this is a different era. We are living in a different era. And the Shastras, when they give directions, their directions are universal and for all timings. They don't give direction for each and everything. The Shastra says you are not supposed to speak falsehood. You are not supposed to propagate falsehood. If you have something genuine with you, you can propagate it. You can market it. But if you don't have something and you are making false claim, that is wrong. Swami Dayanand also, he used to give Vigyapanas. So you can give advertisement for your knowledge and all those things. So these new concepts they have created during this new scenario. And if we read Nyaya Darshan also, there are different type of things. 16 18 things have been described: tarka, vitarka, hitvabhas. Means you can tell lie, you can just to show down your rival, you can do anything, you can do kutark also, you can do vitark also. So these are the different strategies. So you can adopt a strategy, whatever you want to adopt just to make yourself promote yourself, but the moral and ethical value system, it tells us that say, you tell others, you promote yourself only with those things that you have genuinely have. If you don't have anything genuinely, then you should not make a propagation of the falsehood. So that is only the thing. Now we can take up questions from the participants.
Hi, Ravi. We have two questions in the chat
Mhm.
from Seema, Pandita Vinita, and Aruna Ramkalawan from Wales. Well, welcome. The first one it reads, Namaste.
Mm.
The missionary conversion activity is a crisis.
Yeah.
However, remembering Maharishi Dayanand's missionary activity in Punjab in the late 19th and 20th century, bringing our brothers and sisters back to Vedic Dharma is possible. The true history of Bharat should be known. How can we get the current government to help us do this when, in their view, our Sanskriti is only 5,000 years old?
You know, governments cannot play much role in these things. Every government, they want to seek votes. Vote politics is there. So the governments are always handicapped. No government will promote, and they will only promote uh, till the point they can, it is bearable to them. So they cannot go beyond them. So talking about beyond 5,000 years history will be a problem for them, because there is one side, the communist and others, they are propagating that we have only 1200 years old history, 2000 old history. So we cannot depend upon the government. Yes, but government, they can make, they have, some governments have also made some rules against conversion or all these things. So whatever is possible for them, they are doing it. But the main thing is the knowledge. If we don't have the right knowledge, proper knowledge, then, and we don't have self confidence, we are bound to be converted. So, more and more propagation by Hindu organizations projecting the real view is necessary, which can be answered. If the opposite says something against us, it must be answered. And if we keep on, attaching ourselves with the fake value system, fake ideas, they will be criticized, and the time will come that we will have to be converted. And it's not that those people, their philosophy is very strong. Their philosophy is very shallow and hollow, and they don't have anything. But the problem is that our generation, now everybody is after making money. Even the syllabi or the curricula in the universities and colleges is also just for livelihood, that you will get some professional degree, you will be able to earn everywhere there is a provision for making livelihood. So that philosophical knowledge, cultural knowledge is not going to be imparted, that is lacking. And the need is to introduce certain certain subjects which must be compulsory regarding Indian philosophy, Indian culture. Then only this type of awakening will come.
And we also have a second question from these three sisters. How are the Vedas explained as being infallible and interpolation free in comparison to the Bible etc. Dhanyavad.
Vedas, how the Vedas are infallible and corruption free. Their language is very difficult. And one more thing, the accentual system is there, Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarit. Nobody can compose a verse, containing, introducing that Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita system. That is very much complex. So the seers who have visualized this system, it cannot be changed. Some words can be changed, just like Eshate. Some words you can change, and these type of changes, they are visible in different recensions also, but the entire mantra cannot be changed. I have seen some changes, just like some recensions say eshate kurva raja, another recension say eshate panchala raja. So kurva, instead of kurva, they made the panchal. So these type of some changes or variations may occur, and because the Vedas, they were handed down from one generation to another generation in earlier phases through Shruti Parampara. So in that Shruti system, some variations might have occurred, but no new mantra can be composed and inserted into the Vedic recensions, Sanghitas. So there is there is a list possibility of interpolations in the Vedas, and the simple Sanskrit verses anybody can compose, even a lay Sanskrit scholar, and if he has that poetic aptitude, he can make a shlok. So it was easy to make new shlokas and introduce in the main body of some literature, just like Manusmriti, more than 2000 slokas, they are interpolated slokas are there. In Puranas, lot of interpolations is there. Puranas, they mention even the Akbar, Babar also. So you think these Puranas were written by Vyasa? So these interpolations, there is no possibility of interpolation in Veda. It is very difficult to write a mantra with the help of that, including those accentual systems, Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarit. Even the people, they are not able to understand that Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita system in the mantras.
Now, if anyone wants to ask a
Can I just
question.
say, sorry, Panditji, Acharyaji. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Acharyaji, for that
Yeah.
really very great response. And may I just ask another question about evidence? History, as it's been taught nowadays, is about proving and proof. What key proofs do we have that our Sanskriti is over 5,000 years old? Because people want to see physical proof nowadays. Thank you.
Physical proof, mostly the Western scholars, they have emphasized upon physical proofs based upon the archaeological findings. And then another some proof is there, your DNA studies. Now so many things have come up, and whatever proof we used to give, the literary proof and the astronomical calculations proof, the chronology that has been given in our Puranas, we used to give that. But now with this archaeological system coming in, and other studies are also there, with those studies, that we are the proof that are available, they do not go beyond 10,000 years. Sometimes some proofs are there that goes even beyond 10,000 years. So, but more and more archaeological excavations are necessary, and sometimes there is a limitation of carbon dating archaeological excavations. So, if you do carbon dating and find out something, suppose some uh, statue is there, some deities, Vishnu's statue you got, Murti you got. So those Murtis, we must understand that Murti Kala, the sculptor system, it originated very late. It originated in Greece, and from Greece it came to Afghanistan. Then it was Gandhar art, and from Afghanistan it came to India. Mathura, it was Mathura art. And after that, only you can say not 400 BC or 500 BC, around that period, this whole sculpture system originated in the whole world and even in India. Before that, there is no such things. So, whatever excavations we have to depend upon that. So, Mahabharata's excavation, when it was done in the Arabian Sea, the Dwarika was excavated. So, it proved that Mahabharata is around 5,000 years old. So, if you want to go beyond Mahabharata, so Mahabharata is the last system in our recognition, historical recognition, the last phase, Kali Yuga phase. So, if whatever has been mentioned beyond Mahabharata, so that we can rely, if the Mahabharata deadline has been proved 5,000 year old, so whatever has been explained earlier to Mahabharata, that must also be true. We can go like that. And one more thing, there is a physical proof also. One more strong physical proof of an antiquity, Indian antiquity, is that in Ramayana there is a mention of four-tusked elephant. Four-tusked. When Hanuman visits Ravana's palace, so he mentions the four-tusked elephants are standing on the doors of Ravana's palace. So this four-tusked elephant, it used to survive in the modern world. And there is an encyclopedia of Encarta. It says that earlier on the earth, four-tusked elephants used to live. And this four-tusked elephant, it went out of vogue around 15 million years ago. After that, two-tusked elephants, they came in survival. So if the four-tusked elephant, it went out of vogue 15 million years ago, and Ramayana mentions the elephant, four-tusked elephant. And the dating of Ramayana as per Puranas is 24th Treta Yuga. So 24th Treta Yuga is around 18 million years old. So that way there are so many things which can uh, you know take your chronology in the past. And similarly, if you study a book, Forbidden Archaeology by Michael A. Cremo, he writes in that book that these Western archaeologists, when they found that certain dating is going lakhs of years back, and its connection is going to be found with India, they have suppressed all those findings. So there are so many things. More and more research is essential. Then physical proof, you can also relate some physical proofs also with your chronology, but those physical proofs, they cannot go beyond 2 lakh, 3 lakh years ago. Then because they have their limitations. The material thing, how long they can survive in the earth, that is their proof. But whatever astronomical or other proofs are there, we can just take them to that level.
Thank you. Dhanyavad ji. Thank you very much, Acharya
Thank
ji.
Hello.
Hello, yes, yes.
Namaste ji.
Namaste, namaste.
Okay, sir, I have a doubt regarding this Rigvedic Sanskrit and classical Sanskrit.
Uh-huh.
Like during the time, the Vedic Sanskrit, like was it only, made for the chanting the Vedas or, stuff like, were it not used for daily communication? And, and its grammar, it seems like it has more elements than the classical Sanskrit. It's more complicated. So was it being simplified so that people could speak it, or was it a language just for the Vedic chanting only?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, very good question you have asked. So far as the Vedic mantras are concerned, our tradition says that the seers in the beginning of creation, they visualized this system. Means they visualized the knowledge of creation and they expressed that creation in this form of mantras. So these mantras were not the actual speaking language for the human being earlier. But based upon this language system, parallelly, a speaking language was also developed, just like I'll give the modern example. In modern day also, there are two concepts. One is a standardized language. Standardized language means the language used in the literature. And another language flows in the folks. So that same standardized language nobody speaks. But in the folk, we call vernaculars. Vernaculars, we are not following all those rules and regulations, and there is a flow of different type of language. What happens when that vernacular flow keeps on going for hundreds years, 200 years like that, and people start composing literature in that vernacular language, which was the spoken one, and that becomes the language of literature. So that language also known as standardized language. Similarly, this happened. Earlier, Vedic language was the standardized language. Then the language of speaking vernacular Sanskrit developed, and when the people they used to speak Sanskrit, it was later some more literature was composed in that, just like Upavedas, Vedangas. So then that language become the standard Sanskrit language, and that was the Laukik. We call it Laukik. What is Lok? Lok means people. The language that was spoken among people, the folk language, Laukik Sanskrit. But these Western people, they are calling it classical Sanskrit because they branded it to one class of persons, only the language spoken by Brahmanas. It was not so. In our terminology, there are two types of languages, Vedic and Laukik. Vedic language, it was also called as Chandansi. Chanda language, language of Vedic Chandas. And another is the Laukik language. So Laukik Sanskrit, it developed based upon the Sanskrit of Vedas. And it was spoken from time to time. So changes also came. And Panini is the last grammarian in the tradition of grammarians. He is not the first one, he is the last one. Before Panini also, there were hundreds of the grammarians who used to work on Sanskrit, used to, describe its words and all those things. But what happens? Those old things could not be preserved. Panini himself says that Samudravata Vyakaranam Maheshware. In Maheshwara's grammar was as large as a ocean. Tad Kumbhodharanam Brihaspato. And if you take one pot out of the sea water, equal to one pot was the grammar defined or wrote composed by Brihaspati. Tad bhaga bhagacha patitam Indra Vyakaran. Then it's only one part was the Vyakaran by Indra, and then Panini wrote. So it's the tradition. Vedic Sanskrit was never a spoken Sanskrit. It was the language of Vedas. But based upon that also, during that period, during that years period, the language also, speaking language was also developed. They used to speak Sanskrit language only. Those seers who visualized Vedas, they used to speak Sanskrit only.
And sir, can I ask one more
Yeah.
question, sir? Okay, so in this, Vedas, there are like when reading Vedas, some of the Vedic mantras are more archaic, are written in more, seems like they are written in more archaic form of Sanskrit than the other ones, right? And also the Rig Veda, especially, it's more like it has many words in similarity to the Iranian languages like Avestan and all. So they were speaking this Western language at that time, right? And the same time, the hymns in Rigveda were written in Rigvedic Sanskrit. So could could they have been speaking Rigvedic Sanskrit at that time
Yeah.
using tones and all?
Let me tell
And
you,
then they, yeah, so
the Vedic
okay.
Sanskrit speaking people, or the people who had the Vedic mantras by heart, they transmigrated. They migrated from India to the Iran and several places. So no, Indian land was the focal point where the humanity originated first, that Tibetan part, Himalayan part. Here the human beings originated. And on this land, the Vedas were visualized. After that, those people, those Vedic people, they started spreading from one place to another place. They started migrating, and these migrations did not took place once or twice, several times in the past. So the Sanskrit, the Vedic people who migrated in the past times in Iran. Iran means Iran was, the etymology of Iran is Aryan,
Yeah,
the
land of the
coming of the
Aryans.
Aryans. So the
Yeah.
people who took or belong to particular Sanghita or school of Ved, who migrated to that part, and when they got disconnected with the mainstream, what happened? The corruption came into their language. So Gathas of Avesta are the corrupt Vedic mantras. So though Vedic people, they didn't know the Gathas, but they were Vedic people themselves who had mantras by heart in their Shruti Parampara. But because they got disconnected with the mainstream, they forget, they were not having those Vedangas, Vyakarana, Jyotish, Nirukta Chanda to maintain the purity of the language. So then that language corrupted and evolved into the form of Avistan Gathas. Soma become home, like that, Varuna, Varuthra, like that, these changes came. Just as I told, even if you go from one recension to the another recension of the Rig Veda itself, which are available, you will find little bit variations in the mantras. Even in their sequential variations are also there. Sometimes some mantras are omitted from one recension, and some mantras are omitted from another recension. Some recensions have different mantras. So this is because it's a general thing. If you keep the things by heart before it was documented, you may forget something, and you may add, do some variations may come.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Guruji, namaste.
Yes, Parishaji.
Namaste. I am not sure, somewhere in what I have to say there lies a question. So just when you look at what Swami Dayanand said, he didn't look at Hinduism as such, but it was more from a point of dharma and spirituality
Yeah.
and that. And if you look at the times that we live in, where we live in an information age where there is an overload of information on one end, but as well when it comes to spirituality, a lot of times people are looking for the science behind it. And when we look at our ancient texts, like if you look at, for example, quantum physics and the quantum field, this was long ago in the Vashisht Yogas, for example. And you hear very little of that, but you talk about Dr. Joe Dispenza, and everybody knows about him, and that's exactly what information was in the Vashisht Yoga, for example. So how do we cross the bridge of, because the Vedas are scientific based, it's not just some story. And if you look at ancient architecture, and that in India, it's very much maths based, the precision, the detail, which is much older than modern science that we have today. So how do we bridge the gap of bringing this information without making it something that's about religion, because it's not? Because I think, as you mentioned at the start with conversion, and that's where there's a lack. There is a lot of information, but it's not being brought across in the right way. So how do we make that happen?
The information that is embedded into our Shastras, it is not specialized one. Today is the era of specialization and super specialization. But in our Shastras, if suppose 2-3 subjects are required in Ayurveda, if you study Ayurveda, then in Ayurveda chemistry is also required, biochemistry, sometimes physics also required, so that seer who is composing Ayurveda, he will mention all those things or different subjects of the Shastras, he will explain over there itself. The problem is that if you want to know about physics in Sanskrit, then you will have to study different Shastras and you will have to collect information from all those, because it is lying scattered. And then you can compile, collect it, publish it, then as one subject you can study it. So similarly, it is the case with all subjects, because we never taught or learned thing in past in segregated, in a specialized manner, but in a wholesome manner, because everything, if suppose today some doctor is doing operation, so there will be anesthesiologist. If you are doing some, 5-6 doctors will be gather over there and they will do it. But earlier it was not like that. Only one person, he he was supposed to have the knowledge of everything what is required for that purpose. He used to do that. So for that purpose, we shall have to compile information, whatever we want, from different text written in Sanskrit, and then we can compose them and publish them and just we can compensate or we can supplement the modern knowledge with the ancient knowledge. Then only it is possible.
Okay, thank you, Guruji. It is, like you said, because we have such a vast, the knowledge is so vast, but I think therein lies a big part of the problem, because like you said, with conversion, for example, just using it as an example, is that there is a lack of knowledge. There isn't a lack of knowledge, there's a lack of transmitting that knowledge, because there's a lot of knowledge.
For conversion, the lack of knowledge, the knowledge that is required regarding your cultural knowledge, the knowledge of your dharma, what you are. Suppose you don't know what is our culture, what is our civilizational value system. But if somebody is coming to you, he is influencing you that, oh, our value system is this one. but you don't know your value system, so you cannot argue with him. So for that, you must be well informed about your own value system, about your own philosophical system, about your own traditions. Even those must, you must know about their scientific base of your traditions. Then only you can explain that this is what it is there. So for that purpose, I have written many books, just like Science of Indian Festivals. We have written so many things. Origin of calendars in the world, small paper are there. So their calendar system is quite inferior to us. We can tell them what you have. We have this system. In our philosophy, we have universal values. We think about the well-being of each and every person, and you are saying that only a person, that Christ will take your sin, but Christ is not going to take the sin of Hindus or other. But here we are helping. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Everybody's problem we are solving. We are thinking about the well-being of each and every person. So these type of arguments we can give if we are strong philosophically. So we must know our positive points very well so that we may argue the people over there. Just like I was once interviewed in British Guyana, Ashwini Bhai's country. So there was some TV interview, and the interviewer, he was a Muslim guy. So he immediately, the first question he raised, that Indian says that Vedas are not human creation. These are the creation of God. How would you prove it that Vedas were written by God? So it was a simple question asked by him. So what you will say? Then I told that uh, I'm not going into the depth of this question, but in a superficial way, I'll make you understand how the Vedas were created by God. I told, if a human being, he writes a book, what will happen? Either he will write himself, or for his family, or for the maximum he will talk about his society, or maximum he will talk about his nation. Just like, then I gave example. Just like the Muslims say that non-Muslims, they cannot get benefit because that book was written by some human being. If a Christ says that this benefit will go to the only the Christians, that means that book was written by a human being. But Vedas talk about the humanism, animism for all, for everybody, because on this earth, all creatures are the created by Brahman, by God. So everybody is the God's creation here. So when God will write something, He will write for everybody, not for one person or a human being or some animal being. So that is how, because Vedas, they talk about the entire humanity, they talk about the entire world. Even in Vedas, there is no mention of a country. There is no name of country mentioned in the Veda. What the Veda says? Bhumi Mata Putro Aham Prithivyaha. Bhumi, only the earth is mentioned. Vasudha is mentioned. It means this knowledge was given by somebody who created this Vasudha and everything. So he was satisfied. But I could have given other arguments also. So this is how we must be knowledgeable about our philosophy, about why we call this philosophy universal. A human being cannot write universal things, you mind it. Only the philosophy that will come from universal spirit or soul, it can be the universal. If it is limited, means some human being's creation. If it is universal, it is from the universal being.
We have another question on the chat. and it's from Pandita Vasanti. It says, Namaste.
Mhm,
Can you please explain the concept of Shunyavad
mhm.
in comparison to the established Hindu schools of thought of Advaitwad, Dvaitvad, and Traitvad?
Yeah. Shunyavad is the concept, Buddhism concept. Shunyavad says emptiness. Nothing exists. Nothing exists. But the Vedic concept of Shunya, the word Shunya comes from Sanskrit. Vedic concept of Shunya means which contains everything in the still form, avyakta form, which is not visible. But Buddhists say that emptiness is there. It's the concept they have taken. Buddhism is not a new religion. It is based upon our Vedic religion itself. They have evolved certain points based upon Vedas themselves. It's not a new thing. So they say the emptiness, nothing was there. But we say, Sankhya Darshan says, if nothing, something cannot be created out of nothing. If nothing is there, then nothing can be created. If something is there in stall form, in the seed form, then the creation can take place. That is known as Satkaryavad. Vad means whatever today is, we see this universe, whatever visual things or whatever we see the things today, they always exist in their stall form. So that is the comparison between if a thing is non-exist, it cannot exist forever. Just like the this rabbit is there. Rabbit has no horn. So if the horn of rabbit is non-existent, it can never exist. So the examples are given like that. So Shunyavad, Buddhist Shunyavad says nothing was there and from nothingness all these things came. So we don't say nothing ever. What you say nothingness, we say everything existed in stall form and from that the things manifested in gross form. So this is what is different. Now, the second concept is Advaitavada. What is Advaita? Shankara's Advaita, we must understand what is that. And there is two Vedanta system. It's a Vedantic concept. Neo Vedanta and the original Vedanta. As per original Vedanta, Advait means Advait, the condition of the Advait will be attained at the level of Paramarthic level. Paramarthic level. There are two levels of existence. One is Vyavharik level. Vyavharik level, if I translate it into English, it is mundane life, level of mundane life. And second one is Paramarthic level. Paramarthic means the life of liberation. Because earth means objective of human life, and the objective of human life is known as purushartha, dharma, artha, kam, and moksha. So dharma, artha, kam, this is also purushartha, and moksha is a paramartha. So paramarthic level means at the level of moksha. So at the level of moksha there is advaita, means the soul merges with the Brahman. Even this material world also merges with the Brahman. So Advaita is there. Only one thing exists during dissolution, pralaya, or your moksha. So then what is Dvaitavad? Dvaitavad means that is at a Vyavharika level. Dvaitavad means the soul is there and Brahman is there. Soul, when we are living, the creation is there. Since that time you have not attained moksha, liberation, so you exist, your separate existence is there, you exist separately than Brahman. But then you will have to try to merge with the Brahman by meditation, by doing yoga, samadhi, and all these things you will apply. So, Dvaitavad means when a person has not achieved moksha, so his independent existence is there. And Advaita means when you achieved moksha, you have achieved moksha, you do not exist independently, you exist in the Brahman itself. So that is Advaita. Dvaitavad, Dvaita and Advaita. And third thing is Traitavada. It was propagated by Maharshi Dayananda. For the knowledge sake, for the sake of the knowledge of all human beings, because Maharshi Dayananda was a seer, he was a teacher, he wanted to make the knowledge available to everybody. So Maharshi Dayananda told that this soul exists dependently, this Brahman also exists. Soul has independent existence to Brahman, whether it takes life, whether it gets embodied or not, but it has independent existence. Similarly, this Prakriti, this matter, it also exists independently. So, even at the time of dissolution or at the time of this creation, these things are eternally existing. Suppose the moksha is there. You have gone in the moksha. You have merged with the Brahman, no doubt. But there, your existence is also there. No doubt you have discarded your independent existence. Now you are existing with the Brahman. Just like you mix water in the milk. What will happen? That milk will be there, but water is not visible. But factually, water is also existing with the milk. So moksha, in moksha, the condition is just like the water mixed with the milk. So in moksha, Brahman is milk and your soul is existing just like water. That is known as Advaita. But Maharshi Dayananda told, no, don't think that during moksha, your independent existence you have lost. No, you are maintaining your independent existence. And you will again be born in the next creation cycle. You will born again. So how you can understand it? Just like the glass, one room is there. Room is made of bricks and all these things. So the space of the room, it has cut off from the entire space, universal space. But suppose you make the walls of the room of some glass walls. So the transparent is there. A person standing outside, he will not be able to identify whether there is some room or not. He will think, oh, it's the same thing. Universal space is there. Similarly, this body is known as upadhi. When you have avidya, you don't have the proper knowledge, then what happens? You have this dark space, means cut-off line is quite visible, that Atman is different from Brahman. In moksha, what happens? Because you have removed all this dirt of the avidya, that is removed, and transparency comes. Then the soul, it remains merged with the, it appears as if it has merged with the Brahman. But while in moksha, you are not doing any work and you are not doing any swadhyay. So again the avidya, the dirt of avidya comes. Just like you park the car, you don't do everything, the car will start depreciate and it will destroy. Similarly, when in moksha, you are alone, because without body you can't study, you can't do anything. This Atman is quite, it cannot walk itself. It's a pangu, what, lame. It's a lame. Atman can do anything without body. With the help of your linga sharir, stall body, it transfers. when a person dies, his soul is transferred to the another body with the help of the mind. Mind means astral body. It has mind, intellect, ankar, and all these things. So when the soul is in the Brahman, it is not able to do any study or do anything. So while lying over there, it will become, it starts depreciating. And when it depreciates in the next life cycle, it will get an independent existence or birth. So this is the whole process going on. So this Shunyavad means zero, nothingness. But we say nothingness is not there, what is not visible. That doesn't mean that does not exist. So that is why Buddhists say, now God is not visible. So how can we say that God doesn't exist? So Advaitavad means when soul merges with the Brahman, that is Advaitavad. But New Vedanta is Advaitavad. What is New Vedanta is Advaitavad? You must understand. They say that only Brahman exists. This is nothing. This material world, the souls, they are nothing, but everything is Brahman. So that is a wrong philosophical concept. Everything exists. That is why it has manifested. The soul becomes manifest with the help of body. If the body is there, we can imagine of soul. And if this universe is there, we can have imagination of Brahman. So Brahman manifests himself through this creation, and soul manifests itself through the body. So next question.
Sir, am I allowed to ask one more question, sir?
Yes, you ask.
Okay, sir, regarding the soul, in Buddhism, Buddha rejected soul actually. He said anatta or anatman, so no soul.
No.
So, but Buddha also talks about his previous lifetimes where he was born as a robber, a king, an elephant, like that in Jataka tales.
Yes.
So, how can a person who denies soul, have past births and rebirths? How does it? So, what was the reason for Buddha making such a statement? And also, Buddhism and Jainism. Buddha is claimed to have been enlightened, and the Jain, Mahavira, Tirthankaras are also claimed to have been enlightened. But in Buddhism, they deny the soul, but in Jainism, they accept the soul actually. So why why it is so,
Yeah.
and with respect to our Vedic Dharma,
Yeah,
how
that
can it
is
be?
why they are half formed. They are not complete philosophy. Once you are talking about Punarjan, but you are not talking about soul. You are forgetting soul. So similarly, Jains, they don't have the perfection. They have taken out some concepts, whatever were understandable to them, and they are propagating it. If the soul is not there, then Buddha will say this mind is taking birth time and again, this material. So, and that is how they are talking about Shunyavad. Because whatever they don't see, they deny its existence. Because the Brahman is not seen, visualized. So its existence has been denied. The soul is not visible, so is its existence has been denied. So they think that this material system again creating, but it cannot create like that. If you have some permanent thing, then only the next creation is possible. This body of the soul is just like the house we live in. Suppose you demolish your one house, then the owner will go to the another house. So he cannot remain like that. Now the soul, either it will have to merge with the Brahman, or if it is in their mundane world, it will continue to occupy some body, some house, whether it is animal body, a human body, whatever, female body, male body. It depends upon its sanskara. That is why Vedic system is the perfect one. These systems are not perfect. These are half truth and half falsehood.
Prof, namaste, Sindhu in Durban in South Africa.
Yeah.
Prof, quick question following on from your answer when you spoke about Advait, Dvaitvad, and Shunyavad and the philosophy. Pandita Vasanti asked that question. more recently during Swami Dayanand's lifetime.
Mhm.
Swami Dayanand had a lot of, well, some interaction with the Theosophical Society,
Yes.
Colonel Olcott, Madame Blavatsky, and things like that. And can you just tell us a little bit about the Theosophical Society and Swami Dayanand's interaction with them, and also the impact that the Theosophical Society has had on what you had mentioned? You just mentioned that that's what triggered this question. The new Vedanta or the Neo Vedanta movements that we find flourishing in India today with all these new age
Yeah.
gurus and these
Yes.
new things. If you could give us some context about that, please, with respect to the Satyarth Prakash.
Right. Theosophical Society, it originated in America, USA. And theosophy, you used what the theosophy is. Theosophy means something related with religion. So these people, they formed a society, and when they heard about Swami Dayanand, they contacted Swami Dayanand. And they were more talking about mysticism. And what they expected from Swami Dayanand, that you are a great spiritualist leader, so you show some mystic powers, superpowers, some miracles, so that they, whether it is America or whether it is West, whether they are philosophers, whether they are spiritualists, their main aim is to gain more popularity, to gain more money, and all these things. So they insisted on Swami Dayanand that you do some miracles so that we may gather a lot of following and people around us. So when the talks were going on, Swami Dayananda showed them for their, that Colonel Olcott and Madame Blavatsky, he showed them some miracle. Then they become his follower. Then they started emphasizing upon Swami Dayanand that you should do all these miraculous things so that we may attract more and more people. That Swami Dayanand told, because as per Yoga Darshan, if a yogi, he will start demonstrating his divine powers, he will not be able to proceed on the path of yoga. He will fall down and he will be known as a fallen yogi. Then Swami Dayananda told that here I'm not here to attract people through miracles and all these things. Uh, I'm here just to, remove the ignorance, miseries of the people. I don't want to show miracle, and I don't want to install myself as a God man, because they had a concept of God man, prophet, and all these things. So I'm then told, no, I don't want to install myself as a God man. I just want to give the proper knowledge. So, due to these reasons, when and that RS Mas and Theosophical Societies principles, they become one institution, and they started propagating certain things in the name of Swami Dayanand also. Then Swami Dayanand told, no, I don't want to do all these things. Then the separation will took place. So that was the only meeting point in both systems. So, whatever today in the Vedanta the people are saying and doing, this is a mere propagation. They don't understand the real concepts. Even Shankara's Vivek Chudamani. I have translated two books of Shankara. One is Atmabodh and another is Prokshanubhuti. And third one I'm doing it, it's Vivek Chudamani. It's a very beautiful book. If you want to attain moksha or want to go on the path of moksha, that book is very good. Vivek means how to discriminate your soul from your body. Shankar says like that. And in Sankhya Darshan also there is a lot of discussion on Vedantic system, that upadhi. Because Sankhya says these souls are many. Souls the soul is not one, souls are many. Then somebody raises a question to Kapila. If souls are many, then how come this Vedantic system says that soul is one? And then he says that they say soul is one, Brahman is one, and these souls are also one. Just like the one universal space is there, but that universal space, there is also space in the rooms, different. So the universal space is cut off with the space of the rooms and the space of some pot you make. So different space will be there. So there, this Kapila says, if you say that Upadhi is also permanent, Upadhi means body, the stall body. If stall body is permanent and your soul will permanently cut off from Brahman. So Upadhi, Shankar also says that this Upadhi is eternal. That means this soul is separate from the universal soul. But these new Vedantis says, no, Upadhi, it destroys. It gets eliminated. Then this soul becomes one, universalized. But if the Upadhi gets eliminated, then how it will create again? So Upadhi is also permanent, or because the Upadhi is permanent, the soul is also permanent. Only a minute difference of understanding is there. But new Vedantis, people today, they think that this soul is nothing but the Brahman itself. But if the soul is Brahman, then it should be all knowledgeable. It should have all knowledge, Sarvajya. And one more thing, if you will feel some pain, suppose Sindhu Bhogal is feeling some pain, that pain will be felt by me because we are one. Because we are not one, so his happiness and pain is not going to be felt by me, and my problems is not going to be felt by him. So that is how these are, sometimes the people live in delusion. They are not living in practical life. And Shankara, he himself says that there are two conditions. One is the Vyavharik level, another is the Paramarthik level. Paramarthik level means moksha. At the level of moksha, you are living with Brahman. You are one with Brahman. But at Vyavharik level, you have your separate existence. And where the duality is, the actual point of duality or oneness is there. If you say, Aham Brahmasmi, or you say Tattvamasi, what does it mean? When you say that soul and Brahman is one, it means soul and Brahman, they are one in nature. Their nature is one. It doesn't mean that they are one thing, but by nature they are one and the same thing. Because the Brahman is also Avyakt, Sat, the soul is also Sat. Brahman is Chit, the soul is also Chaitanya. Brahman is also Ananda. When soul achieves moksha, it can also attain Ananda. So, by nature, their nature is one, but they are not actually one. So, when you say Tattvamasi, these are the Mahavakyas, often quoted by the Vedantists, Neo Vedantists. Tattvamasi means you are the soul. Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma has also two meanings. Brahma means soul and Brahma means para Brahman also. Aham Brahmasmi means my soul has the same nature as that of the Brahman. The nature of the Brahman and nature of my soul is the one. Sarvam idam khalu Brahma. Sarvam idam khalu Brahman means whatever the living bodies are there, they have the Brahman pervading everything. Sarvam idam Brahman means everything in this universe is pervaded by Brahman. So these type of meaning is there. But they think, I am also Brahman, you are also Brahman. How can the persons be Brahman? So they are living in the wrong concepts. The actual concept is the different one.
Thank you. Thanks, Professor. Thank you so much.
This
lovely
is not the
answer. Also, I
Vedanta's
just want to
philosophy.
say, yeah, I just want to say it's very nice because you've brought in together a few things while I was listening. You spoke a little earlier about marketing in this age that we're living in, information. Pandita Vasanti's question and then also mine. So it was a very nice way to bring all of these elements together when we're looking at the neo-Vedantic model of the way they do their kind of prachar, spiritualist kind of thing that they do. Yes. No,
You
thanks,
know,
Prof.
so
Thank you very
far
much.
as our philosophical texts are concerned, there is a neo Sankhyas, neo Naiyayikas. So every new system has developed. But the old system, it doesn't propagate the actual Vedanta darshan. It is not propagating this philosophy. Neo Vedantins, neo Sankhyas are there. Similarly, neo Naiyayikas are there. So these are the modern development based upon the ancient one, based upon the ignorance or non-proper understanding of the actual philosophy. We can say like that.
Okay. Also, Prof, going back to last week's lecture, where you mentioned about, I think Pandita Arti asked about Swami Vivekananda, and you spoke about the Ramakrishna Paramahansa Ghat
Yeah.
and their multi-faith
Yes,
thing
yes,
and
yeah.
their approach. I think these neo-Vedantists also have that same kind of,
Yeah.
hum sab bhai bhai kind of thing.
Right.
And they also in the same process confuse a lot of things.
Confusing. That is why they are more acceptable to the governments, because the vote politics
Yes.
is there. And one more thing, Swami Dayananda was not accepted because he criticized Murti Puja. By 80% Hindu population, or you can say 85% of Hindu population, they do Murti Puja. So they do not accept Swami Dayanand. But Murti Puja was criticized by Shankara also. He criticizes Murti Puja. That's a problem. And even the Yoga Vasist, it's a book of Vedanta, very famous book of Vedanta. Yoga Vasist says that the people who do Murti Puja, they are just like those small children who play with dolls. It says like that. So Murti Puja was never existed in this country. Meditation existed, and puja means meditation, upasana means meditation. And when puja sthal were there, those were the meditation centers. There in Ramayana also, Kaushalya goes to the meditation center. So meditation places, they were different from the house, because there you need serene atmosphere, no noiseless atmosphere. So they made different meditation centers.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very, very much for the answer. Thanks.
Guruji, I have a question based on you spoke about in moksha, the soul depreciates.
Yeah.
So now, the aim of every human being is to get moksha. So isn't this going against the entire principle? It's like, subsidy now. So I don't understand the concept of if it's going down.
You are right, because the objective of human life defined by our seers is moksha. Not only moksha, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. But there are two more concepts. One is trivarga for laymen. Although it's objective suggested for everybody, but everybody cannot get moksha. So there one more suggestion is there, trivarga and chaturvarga. A person who have a strong desire for moksha, he will follow chaturvarga, means dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. The laymen who want to live, enjoy in the society, their objective of life is trivarga, dharma, artha, and kama. So moksha is not there. So moksha, everybody cannot go in moksha. Only means one in billions, sometime one in trillions, you can say. It's not so easy concept. But until and unless you have a higher goal for achievement, you cannot. If you have a highest goal, then the lower goals or middle goals you will achieve very fast. You will be a very spiritualist persons if you have the moksha as your goal. Just like if you want to attain, suppose 100% marks in the exam, you made a goal of, no, I will get 95%. Then 75, 18% you will immediately get. But if you will set your goal at 60%, you will be at 45, 50, like that. So have a highest goal. So seers told you, oh, have a highest goal. No doubt that is the ideal situation. But at least you will be qualified, you will remain at a condition where you will be qualified to achieve moksha, whether you achieve it or not. And one more thing, it's not necessary. You do not have the, if till the time you have the sanskar of aham in your mind. Sanskar of aham is not ego. Aham means my individual existence. Even in moksha, you are in the moksha, but you can live the life. That is known as Jivan Mukti. Just like Krishna is there. Krishna was a person of moksha. But because he wanted to have his independent existence also, so he was living. So there are two concepts. Living liberation, you are in the body, but you are in a liberated state. And Videha Mukti. If you want to go in actual moksha, then the yogi will eliminate his sanskar of aham and he will merge with the Brahman. So living Jivan Mukti is more beautiful concept than entirely living in the Brahman. Because here you can do so many things for society. Well, the same thing was doing Swami Dayananda. You can teach others. You can do activity. Because if you won't have the body, you can't do anything. It is only through body the soul can do anything. But because soul gets involved with the bodily thing, soul is known as witness and body is action, agent. Whatever body does, soul thinks, no, I am doing it, I am doing it. So whatever body does, it takes, it owns everything. That is why the soul becomes, it's getting the fruit of pain, pleasure, and all these things. If this soul separates itself from the body, no, this is the body's action, I'm not involved in that, then at least a type of liberation you will attain. That is known as self-realization. Knowing about your true nature of the soul, identifying the true nature of your soul. And that is Brahma realization. If you want to merge with the Brahman moksha, then the Brahma realization will take place. So, if you are living at the stage of self-realization, then you can enjoy life and you can teach others also, just like Swami Dayanand did.
Thank you, Guruji. So, can I ask one more question?
Mhm.
So, with Swami Dayanand being, respected the way he has been and created the Satyarth Prakash, which is, it's such an important manual for all of us. He wasn't just a religious and a social reformer, right? He was an academic scholar. So, in creating the Satyarth Prakash and in doing his critical assessment of Islam and Christianity with limited English, how was he able to communicate this to the masses?
When he did the critique of Quran, he got the Quran translated into Hindi. Similarly, he got the Bible translated into Hindi based upon those. And he got
Wow.
the books translated by authentic Islamic scholars. That Hindi version of Quran, which was referred to by Swami Dayanand, was existing in Propakarini.
Oh,
Yeah. So he was taking their help.
wow.
Or it
I
was
think
not possible.
yeah.
Because suppose I know English, but if I'll study Bible, I won't be able to understand certain concepts. Although the words their meaning I can understand. Similarly, what I'm talking about, the Vedantic philosophy is there. Even the great acharyas, they are not able to understand their true meaning, so they are misinterpreting is there. So that is why Swami Dayanand got it interpreted by their authentic scholars and used those versions. because so that there is no misinterpretation. That is why in his critique of Islam and Christianity today, there were so many court cases were done, but nobody told in court cases that this thing is wrongly interpreted by Swami Dayanand. So all the court cases were defeated and Swami Dayanand emerged victorious. So because his interpretation, whatever he quoted in his book is correct. And then he commented over that.
Thank you. That's very interesting.
Okay. I see Bhai Prakash has his hand up. We'll take a last question from him.
Yes, yeah.
Bhai Prakash, please go ahead.
Yes, namaste. Professor Ji, with your permission, I can also add to your answer on the moksha and the soul.
Mhm.
So when we look at moksha, it's liberation, and then it's the union of the soul with Brahma, our Creator God. So and the soul, when we say the soul is union with God, it's not, the soul cannot actually join and become God. So there is the difference there.
Yes.
So that, like, God is the driver and we are in the backseat of the car and God takes us. So when we say moksha now, it's not, they say moksha like it's indefinite, but it's not indefinite. There is you enjoy moksha for 11 trillion and 40 billion years. So one moksha, so that's why they say it's like you achieve moksha forever. But it's not forever. There is a time limit of 11 trillion years, which seemed very long.
Yes.
So when your 11 trillion years of moksha is over, then you come back. You have served. You have got your reward. So then you come back into the form, human form again. So I don't know if that will help Pandit Reshekar.
Yeah. Let me explain it more
Okay.
clear way.
Thank you.
What is liberation? First of all, we must understand liberation. The initial concept of liberation means getting rid of this embodiment. Getting rid of embodiment. Having our true nature, having identified ourselves, identify yourself with your true nature so that we may get rid of this embodiment. This embodiment is taking place because we are more involving with the material things. If we don't involve with the material thing and we will have more meditation and all these things for Brahman and all, then this embodiment will take place. Then soul is left with itself. It realizes its true nature. So when it realizes its true nature, only one sanskara remains, that is the sanskar of aham. Sanskar of aham will allow you to get a body, but not involving with this physical world. So that is Jivan Mukti. But when soul merges, when you eliminate that sanskar of aham, the soul merges with the Brahman, just like the water merges with the milk. It has its own existence. But when the one creation cycle is not 11 trillion, 311 trillion year is one creation cycle total. So today 155 trillion years are left of the creation cycle. Suppose you get moksha. So you will remain in moksha till the next creation cycle originates, means till 155 trillion years. And when the next creation cycle will take place, the soul in the moksha, they will descend on the earth first, not everybody. So when they will descend, because they have a lot of knowledge, even they will descend on the earth, they will have all knowledge. So they will imbibe, visualize this knowledge of creation, the Veda, and then they will, give it hand it over to the next generations, then the whole system starts. This is how our concept and Swami Dayananda tells about all these things. So the Veda is the knowledge of creation. And how it is the knowledge of creation? Because Brahman created this universe. So the creation of knowledge will also belong to the Brahman. And how that knowledge will be imbibed? Suppose you have created some machine. So that knowledge of the machine is yours. But when the machine is created, the knowledge of the machine has also came into existence in the universe. And the third party, it can visualize it. Similarly, the seers who come first in the in this creation, they visualize that creation knowledge of creation. They pen down, they compose it into the form of this, whatever the language existed, whether this Sanskrit will be there or in the next something else. I'm not going to say about that, but they composed it first in the form of Vedic Sanskrit, and they forwarded it to the future generations. This is how this whole system started. This is what is the crux. So any doubt you have?
I think we've had the questions for today, so we will close and reconvene next Sunday, same time. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.